hashtag replay. So I know that you are here going to cover a controversial topic today. Waiting for my YouTube to go up and we'll get this off the ground. But here's the question of the day. If network marketing is so good, why do so many people hate the profession? You have people calling it a pyramid scheme on one end, but also on the other flip end, those that have been in network marketing hurt by it, and having what is now known as MLM trauma. What is actually happening? Because, and that's what I want to talk about today. And I encourage, if anyone here is in network marketing, I wonder your thoughts on this. If anyone's aware of network marketing, I wonder your thoughts on this as well too. And my goal is to not blame anyone, but ultimately my message is going to be one of encouragement as well. My name is James Zhang. I've been in network marketing now full-time for 14 years, 16 years total as a profession. I was totally the person when I first got introduced as a broke college student at UC Berkeley. I thought it was a pyramid, a scam, illegal, unethical. I was the most negative prospect you would have ever met. And then I saw the light. I saw the value of recurring income. Even better than that, exponential recurring income. There is no other business that I know where you can get started with almost nothing for most businesses and be able to get mentorship for free, to be able to have a platform to be able to sell products and services and build an income for yourself where you own the customer and you get paid repeatedly on that customer for life if they rebuy. And also, you have the ability to build a sales team that you can earn an override with that doesn't require certification for most businesses. It doesn't require any type of background. You can just get started and right away get plugged into an engine that has produced many, 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 many millions out there in the world. And it sounds great, right? I mean, it sounds perfect. But then you get involved and you start to realize why it's not perfect. And the reason why the business model is not perfect isn't the business model's fault itself. It's because people aren't perfect. And hurt people hurt people. And the reality is in any business, but especially in network marketing, it is a relationship building business. You have relationships with your clients, you have relationships with your partners. And as you go through life, when broken people around broken people, we break each other. So network marketing is perfect until you put imperfect people into it. And all of a sudden, you get a lot of hurt. And here's a couple of the things that I hear that are things that are against network marketing. Only the person on top makes all the money. All the small people don't make money. How about things like it's too overhypey, people really aren't achieving that, and it's outlandish? How about there's a lack of actual support and proper training? You get involved and you're sold the dream, but then you're left out high and dry to go figure it out yourself. How about you were involved in leadership teams that had a wrong culture that ended up hurting you, that put you down, that offended you, that shot you out, that outcasted you, that had favoritism, that had wrong philosophies that drove you to a bad place? So there's a lot of different things that happen within a network marketing organization. And then one, just final one, is the company themselves plays favorites, or they have wrong policy, or they shut down, or they go affiliate. So there's all these different things. Now, I'm going to target this conversation assuming you pick a good company, and that deals with the founders, the policies, what's in the procedures, good products, good services. I'm going to assume you have that because they do exist out there, but be sure to vet out a good company. But I believe the reason why network marketing gets the most hate is because of a lack of proper leadership in many organizations. And it's a rampant issue. It's always going to be an issue. John Maxwell says An organization rises and falls based on leadership. But the reason why it's even worse now than before, right away, network marketing, because of the model, anyone can get involved for basically nothing. So if anyone can get involved, that means that anyone's in it. So if you have a whole big ocean of people that are in, most of which have never had formal training in leadership and business and especially network marketing, what ends up happening is you have a whole army of people that are untrained, uneducated, trying to do their best. And if they're not refined as leaders and they're promising the world to other people, that hurts people. So a lot of people get that perception of it's a sleazy, salesy, pushy type of a business. But it doesn't have to be that way. I'll layer one more thing on top of it. And this is why I'm coming on now, because this has been stirring in my heart as someone that loves people and I love the profession. It's changed our lives, not just financially, but it brought me out of my shell as an introverted, shy, nerdy Asian kid to gaining confidence and skills and personal growth, where I was able to recruit the love of my life, who eventually became my wife and now mother to my child. Without the profession, I wouldn't have been married. I wouldn't be a dad. I wouldn't have found Jesus. We wouldn't have a lifestyle of freedom and travel and make so many different friends. I've experienced the bad, but I've also experienced the really good sides of the business. And objectively, there's nothing else that can beat it. That's why still I'm involved and I'm so passionate and excited. But the reason why this has always been an issue in every organization in the world, church, businesses, it doesn't matter. There's always leadership issues, right? But what I've noticed is, especially with the advent of social media, that issue of a lack of proper leadership in network marketing has been even more amplified, because negative amplifies more than positive does. It's usually the good that is silent. It's usually the ones that they're not loud, that are the really strong ones. But those that are negative tend to get out there even further. And I hear these, and they're important because there's always, I think, from negativity, you can always get really good criticism and really good feedback. So that's my response to any negativity that I've seen in, especially the last 5 years in network marketing post COVID, has been the result of improper leadership dynamics. Social media has also painted a false expectation where, yes, you can get fast growth, but at the same time, the reality of building any business long term in any profession, especially network marketing, is it takes diligence and persistence and effort and a lot of work and failure and triumph and all of that stuff, and learning and investing in yourself. Like, nothing comes for free. Success is not automatic. Success is uphill. If it were simple and easy, everybody would be successful in anything that they do. It's worth it, but it's absolutely not easy. But social media paints it this way. We fall into comparison traps. We see people's social media posts, and we're like, oh man, they're crushing it, I suck. When we don't know the actual background story, when we don't know that maybe it's been years that they've been striving and building themselves up for a breakthrough, and all of a sudden now you see their chapter 10 when you're in your chapter 1. So we're dealing with this very much so now. And what happens is we have a profession that, because of the ease of entry that is already plagued with inherent problems of lack of leadership, compounded now because of social media. And now what happens is we have a lot of inexperienced leaders that have a loud voice that can cause a lot of harm, that are giving improper philosophies that ultimately, and I believe most people are intentionally trying to do good. But what happens is that philosophies that are unchecked or ungrounded because of a lack of accountability, because it's a wild, wild west sometimes in this profession, spread, and the byproduct, the consequence is hurt people. And I bring this up not to blame anybody, but I bring this up for awareness, because as I've been praying through this and meditating through this and just thinking, like, what can we do about this? Because on one hand, it can seem almost like too big of a task. On another hand, it's like, well, someone's got to start doing something about it. So my goal is to be able to shed light on proper leadership dynamic and to really be able to bring proper alignment in field leadership. I am a student in the game. I don't know it all. But what I do know is for 14 years, I've stayed with the same company through ups, downs, personal bankruptcy, company bankruptcies. I've been through uplines stealing down my downline, uplines hurting us, cross lines doing weird things, tons of drama. I've been through countless leadership shifts, people leaving for whatever reason. I've been through many different things and scenarios that we have overcome and risen up. Where in the last year, we've 10x their income despite even lots of stuff that's constantly shifting. We've been through the social media advent and pivoted. We've been through many things, and now we've landed in a place where very grateful within our company. We have a place of influence and a voice. But also, I think just within the world, I want to be able to speak up more on these things because network marketing is so beautiful, but it can be very brutal if there's a lack of accountability, if there's a lack of proper awareness and education on things. I think a lot of people avoid network marketing and they say, I'm burnt out from network marketing. I'm just going to go sell something, go build a course, go do whatever. I've done all these. There's nothing wrong about that. But then I think to myself, isn't that interesting? Because the powerful part of network marketing is the leveraged income aspect of it. And even more than the income, but the impact when someone comes up to you and says, you changed my life. I just got off, we have a mentorship program in our organization called the Millionaire Mentorship. We just concluded one chapter. We're launching another one. And I just had like 10 leaders pour out their hearts, crying and just expressing gratitude for the type of mentorship and impact that we were able to have within our organization. Like that's what I think for most leaders that want to do something amazing, that's what drives us. It's not the money. We'll take the money, right? It's not the lifestyle. We'll take that, but it's really the work that we do. So it's important that we talk and start to bring balance and awareness into leadership. I truly believe that if people understood how to actually partner with people, empower others, lead themselves and lead others, and figure out things like how to get someone to do something and that they want to do, how to actually partner with someone, collaborate with someone, how to navigate drama, how to have crucial conversations, how to actually navigate leadership shifts. When people understand this skill set and this mindset, then they can experience all of the beauty that network marketing has. Because when done right, network marketing is the most powerful business vehicle that I could imagine of impact, income, lifestyle, and everything. I say it's the best way to buy back your time, make more money, and find purpose. But caveat is you do have to get some skills, and especially leadership skills. These days now, you can simply find programs where you can market yourself and you can sell a lot of products and stuff, which is fine. But that's a solopreneur and that's an affiliate type of a thing, which is great. But if our goal is to scale our impact and our income, there's a beautiful leadership aspect of team building and leadership raising and all of these that needs to be touched upon. So I want to start speaking on that more. And I'm curious if anyone has experienced this or anyone resonates with what I'm saying. I have a whole brain full of things and a heart full of things that I want to bring to light that I think are going to be super beneficial. And a part of me says I really want to do it. A part of me is like, are people interested? I know this is a very niche topic as well too. Um, but it's something that's been a personal frustration for many, many, many years. So let me give a couple of notes here on what would correct leadership look like in network marketing. I believe leadership is not a title, it is a role and a responsibility. The best leader in the world, Jesus said, I came not to be served, but to serve. And that's what leadership in network marketing is. We don't own anyone. While people do own their own business and there is financial incentive involved, the reality is in a network marketing organization, it runs very similar to a church organization. It's a volunteer army, meaning people can choose, they might join, but they don't have to follow us. If anyone follows us, even if it's one person, that's an honor. That's one of the most beautiful and should be taken serious responsibilities that are in the world. So, leadership is a responsibility, it is a role, it is a servant heartedness of things. On the flip side, though, leadership is not, we are responsible for other people's results. On the flip side, I see what also bogs down leaders is they have this trauma and this overwhelming weight and guilt when they have a partner that isn't coachable or they have a partner that's not achieving the results that they say that they want, and they say it's all my fault that they didn't win. I'm a horrible leader, I suck. Here's the other reality: the only person that anyone can lead is themselves. Our job as a leader is not to make someone successful. Our job as a leader, I believe, this is the main job, is to connect them to a company and a system, resources, an environment where they can win if they choose to. That's our primary role when we're recruiting someone into a network marketing organization. If you want to take it a step further, I'd say the primary role of a leader is to set the example, to lead from the front, to show people that you're practicing what you preach. And I believe that if you're doing that and you're doing your best to involve your people in the environment, at that point, you've done everything that you need to do. As long as you're not intentionally doing things to harm someone else, remember, we're doing our best to serve. A leadership dynamic. Here's a principle: support is not a right, support is a privilege. It should be an expectation that when you get involved in network marketing, you have no help. But if you do have any help, blessing. Even if the help is not the best help, blessing. Because no one is obligated to us to help us. This is an important dynamic to have, because when there's mismatch expectation, it causes so much drama. I deal with leaders all the time, myself included, and I have these complaints myself. And we'll say things like, shouldn't she know better? Shouldn't he do this? Shouldn't they do blah, blah, blah? The reality is this: they shouldn't and don't need to do anything, because it's your business. It's my business. If they do anything at all, that's fantastic. So let's honor the person. Let's extract what we can, but let's take ownership back into our own hands so that we can lead our own lives. Because at the end of the day, no upline, crossline, downline, or anyone will pay your children's bills except for yourself. So we're not responsible for someone else's results. Only we are responsible ourselves. And the last thing I'd say is this: one of the biggest and most hurtful things that leaders can do is when a leader leaves the post. And what I mean by leave the post, if we're projecting a promise that we're going to help somebody, and then all of a sudden we just bounce with no communication. Life happens, right? Things happen. But it's one of the most painful things that I see that lead to hurt. When there's a team that's depending on the leader because they've painted a picture and a promise and a vision. And all of a sudden, the main leader needs to deal with some things, which is fine. But there's no communication, there's no responsibility, and the leader drops the people and leaves them high and dry. It's never an intention of the leader, I think, to hurt their flock. But I believe there's a lack of proper philosophy that's leading to a lot of hurt there. If we had as leaders the idea and the philosophy that I serve my team, and there's going to be times that you can't serve them well, so we have to communicate with them and fill in the gaps. It's a leader's responsibility to make sure that things are covered. So, for example, so we haven't left our post for 14 years. We love what we do. But even in times when we have trying times, because we all do. My wife was in the NICU. My wife had a high risk pregnancy. She had to go to the hospital weeks, months early before the due date. And then our baby was in the NICU for 40 days of the first 60 days of his life. Praise God, he's good and super healthy now. But we couldn't be as engaged as we needed to. But we made sure that we communicated that. We made sure that we delegated that. We made sure that we empowered other people. And we were always in touch because it's our responsibility to steward and to shepherd our flock. These are important things to have. And I bring this up because I know there's going to be some of you that are already in these roles where you're like, okay, that makes sense. But there's also some of you that say, I would love a thriving, duplicating, amazing team, leverage income, all of that. And I just want to give it real that if you choose to adopt these roles, these philosophies, these attitudes, these mindsets, when you change and you step up, people will come. Now I'll leave it at this. The reality is there's massive opportunities all around the world right now. There's a turbulent economy, a turbulent world, and turbulence and challenge means there's opportunities for entrepreneurs willing to step up and solve the problem. There's many products and services people need, but also there's a big need for A, making more money, B, getting more freedom and getting more time, but C, there's a big need that people want to be involved in great communities. People want to follow people that know where they're going. They want to follow someone that has a captivating, positive vision for their lives. They want to be inspired because there's so much negativity. You just turn on the news, you're going to be brought down real quick. It's easy to stand out right now. It's easy to be competitive in a world with so much noise. The harvest is plenty, the labors are few, the leaders are few. The leaders with true integrity and heart, and they're willing to take responsibility, they're willing to step up to the plate. There's a lot of people that want to follow somebody that knows where they're going. And if you choose to step up to be that leader, I call it the ultimate upline. And you aim for that, right? We're going to fail, but we're aim for that. Automatically, you're going to have people that are going to start to follow you. I've never been without a team now for 14 years. It's an honor, it's a privilege. But I know it's because there's certain philosophies in place that help to ensure that that happens. So, anyways, if this is interesting information, this is probably a message that's the most aligned and resonating for me right now in this season. But I have many topics that I'd love to be able to cover on this. And let me know if any of them resonated, if comments, feedback, or questions as well too. And I want to see if there's something that we can do to put somewhat of a dent in this major problem in life, but